If you ask this podcaster, Leaning Rock always beats Grand Canyon. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 113 of the Anthem podcast. Whether you're listening to us on otheanthem.com or through your RSS feeder of choice, whether it's Google Play Music, welcome to the new folks on Google Play Music, or iTunes or Stitcher or Dogcatcher. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the podcast. Make sure that if you're capable that you like and subscribe on your RSS feeder of choice. And if possible, give us a rating and a review. It's the best way to help us climb the charts and help other people know about the podcast that you love so much. And of course, an even better way to spread the word than that is to tell a friend. Let them know that you have this great, fantastic podcast. You know, maybe steal a phone. Maybe just download it for them.
Or just share it on Facebook would be... If you're just on Facebook and then all of a sudden you go like, oh, the Anthem released a new thing, and you watch the video and you're like, haha, that was really funny.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Like, nah, just hit share.
Just hit share. Share, and it's share now. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Share now, and just post right to your page. Can't beat it. So make sure.
I mean, we're not going to keep you if you want to write something like, you know, like Corey's so handsome and smart, and Rob's, you know, the other guy.
Don't lie to your friends though. That's we don't want to have any false advertising. But so make sure you do it, and of course on Twitter.
Lying on the internet? No.
So we are also available. That's at the Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Any other social networks that we're on?
Google Plus,
of course, yeah. And of course, you can find us on YouTube as well, where we have video during every episode of the podcast. So if you're listening to this on the audio format, you're missing out on half the show. Go over to YouTube after you've downloaded the audio version. Go over to YouTube, youtube.com/OTheAnthem, and check out the video for episode 113. So
you missed that at dinner, by the way.
What's that?
I was my brother right now is making a cross country drive. From San Francisco to Miami.
Right.
I forgot to ask him what his plan is once he gets to Miami. Like if he drives back or if he flies back or what.
He's living the life.
Whatever.
God.
But he went to the Grand Canyon yesterday and he posted pictures of it. And I said during dinner that I didn't really think the Grand Canyon was that great.
Okay.
When I saw it. Like I wasn't like blown away by it.
Did you make like a 2-hour detour to go to it too?
No.
Out of your way to go?
No. I was on like a family trip. So I was like 13 years old. I was like in the wheelhouse of like thinking the Grand Canyon would be cool.
I thought you went there on your westward trip.
No.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm sure I saw part of it somewhere.
Well, no, because you went over the Hoover Dam. Didn't you?
No.
No?
I went from Denver to...
Vegas.
And
then west. Yeah, so you saw part of the Colorado River, but you didn't see the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It's all further south.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
But you're not a fan of the Grand Canyon.
No, I thought there's a park in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I had to find the picture of it. There's a thing called the Leaning Rock. And it looks like it's going to tip over and fall down a crevice, but it's been sitting there just like that for like 150 million years or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's never moved.
Not 150 million years. You know what that is?
What?
So when the glaciers that were 1.5 miles high came down in the last glaciation about 80,000 years ago, it would drag these boulders.
Not 150 million years ago?
No, 80,000. So it would drag these boulders along with it. And then as when it stopped wherever it was, then it basically melted in place. And it melted from the front backwards. So as it melted away, it left these boulders sitting in weird positions. So... it's hot geology talk here at otheanthem.com.
I prefer the Joe Rogan bit where he talks about space. He's just like, you know, we sent satellites out into space and they traveled for 30 years, just straight moving, and they haven't reached anywhere near what we know is the end of the galaxy, the universe. Yeah. That, like, they haven't even come close to the end yet. Just constant movement for 30 years. And you're driving out to the Grand Canyon in the middle of the nowhere. You're basically looking at a fucking ditch.
Well, unless, of course, you are in the Flat Earth movement. Then you don't believe that we've sent anything anywhere. Make sure you're subscribing at patreon.com/OTheAnthem.
If this Earth ain't flat, then how did we not go all the way to the bottom, like the bottom of the Grand Canyon? This thing's too big.
But
it's huge.
The pre-roll footage this week has some hot, flat Earth talk. So if you are not subscribed at patreon.com/OTheAnthem, you're missing out on the hot, flat Earth chat.
News break. Rob told me about this in the pre-roll. There are people who actually think the Earth is still flat.
That and further discussion available in the pre-roll, only available if you become a supporter on Patreon. Patreon.com, patreon.com/OTheAnthem. Sign up. Make sure that you're pledging at the level that gets you the pre-roll footage, and every week that becomes available to you through the Patreon page. So make sure you check that out. And I tend to think it's pretty entertaining. This week's was cherry.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoy all of that. But So, Brent, sorry, we got way off track. Brandon is traveling across country, living the privileged life.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag white privilege.
Yeah. I should tell him to just start tagging all his snaps with that.
Hashtag white privilege.
Oh, man, I had some really good barbecue at Franklin's. Hashtag white privilege.
He lives in San Francisco. He's got a nice job. He's got a beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah.
Girlfriend? Not female. No, girlfriend. Girlfriend. They're traveling across country.
Don't you put that evil on me.
Because that's a weird thing where, like, women would take that as an insult. If you call the fiance a girlfriend, like, what? What, you haven't let these people know who I am?
Well, I feel like if it depends on how much of a connection you have to said person.
True.
I mean, if she was a fiance and I said girlfriend, then I'd hear about it. Right. But if you, the friend of me, who knows Brennan but doesn't like, hey,
listen, I know there's a girl you're putting your dick in relatively regularly. Give me credit for that.
God, I hope they're listening to this as they drive along in discomfort.
But the other way, so
Brendan just looks over at one point and he's like,
I haven't said anything.
Do you like the Nerdist? I think that Hardwick guy's like, he's okay. I'm pantomiming the steering wheel too. I hope the audio people
make sure you're watching on YouTube to get the full effect.
The full effect of me putting hands side by side.
Do you want to stop and let me put my dick in you?
So we're driving. I guess we should. You want to play the license plate game? Right there. That's in Oklahoma. Got it.
Your impression of him, and by the way, it's not an inaccurate impression. It's just a hyperbole of an accurate impression. It's
the best. Here's the thing you got to do about impressions. This is what I've learned. Make it close enough that the people like know who you're doing an impression of, and then just kick it up like 5 or 10%. Like just a little.
Any impression of Jay Leno is just like,
right. But is Jay really like that? No, he's.
But
like when he's really, like, I was talking to the guys today at the shop. Like, he's got the twinge, which is what people are using. But you can do a Jay Leno impersonation where it's just like, hey, we're good. Get on. Be in our car.
I hope people have it turned way up in their car, and it's just nothing but Jay Leno all day. But
should we go to our regular segment of Bautista getting punched in the face talk? By the way,
this is now
the new weekly segment.
2 consecutive episodes where we discussed hot Bautista chat. So, are we still feeling great about Bautista getting punched in the face?
I love it. It'll never grow old.
I'm looking for if anybody knows how to do this, I'd like Time Hop to remind me each day that Bautista got hit in the face. If they could just give me the reminder, don't forget. 17 days ago, Bautista hit in the face.
497 days ago, Bautista got punched in the face.
Yes. Thanks, Time Hop. As opposed to I know today is a bit of a different day. Usually I hate Time Hop. Time Hop can go fuck itself on most days. Because usually it's like, hey, here's a picture of you from 4 years and 200 pounds ago. And I'm like, oh, fuck yourself. But today was an awesome day for me for Time Hop. So make sure you check out the pre-roll footage to find out why it was such a good day for me on Time Hop.
God, pimping the pre-roll.
Patreon.com/OhTheAnthem.
We got to give these people something good to talk about.
Well,
like here on the actual show.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, we're pimping the paid show. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. You know.
Well, so let me ask you this:
Eventually, we got to give the people what they want, which is
Brendan and his girlfriend planning on stopping by any zoos on the way to Miami?
Well, I mean, Brendan is kind of like. He should probably go in some sort of zoo.
I was going to say, make sure to tell his girlfriend not to hang him over the edge of the cage.
Make sure you keep an eye on Brendan. He has a tendency to wander.
Too many lives have already been lost.
All right, so we're going to talk about this gorilla thing.
It's unavoidable. It was the big story of the week. And here is what I want to say from the top. I am not a zoologist, but I am going to express opinions that make it feel like I am a zoologist. Specifically...
Listen, I read 4 Facebook statuses. I'm pretty well read on the subject.
I'm pretty sure that I know what's going on with this damn monkey. Oh, wait. I mean, ape. It's an ape. It's a great ape.
Yeah.
By the way, I immediately discount, because I have a general understanding of evolutionary processes and genus and species. When people are like, you're choosing the life of this monkey, I'm like, oh, down. Okay. So you don't understand how these things work.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to listen to you at all.
Right.
Go ahead. But, yeah.
So, yeah, everyone knows by this point, Cincinnati Zoo, a boy fell into the gorilla enclosure.
Yes.
And the gorilla, whose name is...
Harambe?
Harambe.
Did you just derail the monkey from...
No.
You're like, what I meant was you mumble the name so that were you to mess it up.
No, what I was trying to do was say it just the way that you said it. I was trying to...
Harambe. There you go.
Harambe.
Okay.
There we go.
Dere.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Got it. Yeah. Patreon. Got it.
Just every 5 minutes on the 5 minutes, I was going to be like, oh, that kind of reminds me of something we talked about on Patreon. So the child fell in. The monkey was...
Ape. The gorilla.
You
the
did
rare,
that to me.
Exotic silverback gorilla.
You did that to me. The gorilla...
Yes.
Grabbed the boy and moved him about.
Yes.
Eventually was shot and killed, and the boy was saved. Well, minor injuries.
The boy was removed from the cage. Save infers that he was in danger.
Yeah.
And that something bad was going to happen to him, which I don't necessarily think was true. But...
Well... I've always been of the mind that I don't think animals need to die to... I mean, if it seemed like he was going to like rip the child in half or something like that, then yeah, by all means, take care of it. But I would have liked to see more efforts being taken to not shoot the gorilla.
Somehow I think that they went to the class offered by the Baltimore City Police Department on how to deal with high-stress situations. Keep in the crosshairs. You get an opportunity, just take a shot. That's fine. We'll pay the settlement later. Don't worry about it.
The boy and the gorilla are just there, and it's just like, he's got a gun!
Oh. Hashtag socially acceptable racism. Thank you. By the way, hey, crazy white people, I love how you like jump on the bandwagon of like, white parents, blah, blah, blah. And did you see the post that was going around? It's just like, white parents don't pay attention to their kids, blah, 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 blah. And it was like all white people who were posting it. And I'm like, first of all, it wasn't a white kid. It wasn't a white kid. Second of all, the race of the kid doesn't matter. Dealing with a 4-year-old is a rambunctious 4-year-old is difficult, no matter what race they are.
And
3,
that's the thing. Like, I understand why people are outraged.
Yes. Yeah.
I just think there's too many. Like, there's not enough that I know for sure where I can say that this bothers me. I mean, it bothers me that the gorilla was endangered.
Yes.
And you just killed one.
Yes.
That I would have liked to have not happened.
A gorilla that had not fathered children yet.
Right.
It was not yet a mature adult male. So,
and, you know, I would love to blame the parents if I knew for a fact that they were just like, hey, you watch the gorilla, I'm going to go get myself a slicey. I'm going to get myself a slushie.
Yeah.
And like, you just wait here for 5 to 10 minutes and I'll be right back. Right. Then I have problems with the parents. And then I'd be fine bringing kind of charges against them for what eventually became the gorilla dying.
Right.
But, I don't know. I was walking kids to the park on Memorial Day.
Right.
To play, like, you know, baseball. Mm-hmm. And I was sort of herding, like, 10 kids, 11 kids.
Yeah.
I didn't have them all in my eyesight the entire time.
Right.
I'd make, like, quick checks going, like, oh, the 3 that are behind me are still behind me.
Right.
But I wasn't, like, you know, like, shepherding them all, like...
Here's what I'm going to say, though. If a white panel van had started driving slowly behind you, how would you have reacted?
I would have gotten the kids in front of me
right.
so I could keep my eyes on all of them.
Now, if you'd come up on a 4-lane highway that you had to cross, what would you have done?
I would have gone last and had all the kids.
Gathered the kids together.
Yeah.
Because when danger's nearby, we pay close attention. And I'm not saying blame the parents, because we don't know what happened beforehand.
I'm saying there's one of two ways that this went.
Yeah.
Either the parents are horribly unfit.
Okay.
Or they did what pretty much any parent has done at some point or another, which is like take your eye off the kid for 2 seconds. And while you're not looking, they do something ridiculous.
They jump into the monkey cage. Yeah.
Going back to Brendan. Brendan got lost at Epcot.
When you were little?
Yeah, when we went to Disney. Like, he got separated from everybody else.
Did you have to call, like, the Disney police and everything?
We did, but what we ended up doing was we told the Disney police and then went back to where we had last seen him, which is where he went. Mm. So he knew enough that, like, once he got separated away, he's just like, all right, where did I last see them?
Let's go back there.
Let's go to that spot.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll probably...
That's good training.
Yeah.
This has been Parenting with Papa Baker.
Parenting by the two people who aren't parents.
But listen,
and doing nothing but judging tonight people who are...
I am not a parent, but I've played one on TV and in real life for bits and periods of time. And here's the thing. I have dealt with a 4-year-old. And that's why I can say that you dealt with a group of kids on a single day. I dealt with a 4-year-old day in and day out. Going out, living in the city, in an inherently dangerous city is really driving you crazy.
Yeah, no.
For those of you watching on video, you probably can't see, but there's a mosquito that is driving Corey crazy and staying just out of reach. Riveting audio podcast. Ugh, missed him. Oh, it's the adventures of the mosquito. But no, so I mean, I've dealt with a 4-year-old on a day in and day out basis, going out in the city every single day.
Yeah.
And I had a very hands-off policy. I have a hands-off policy with all children. Just let them explore.
I hope you do.
Let them explore and like feel like they're free. And you know, they do the thing where like they take like a couple of steps and then they like look back to see like, how far away are you? Okay, I'm good. I'm free. I'm safe. Give them some freedom. But then when you see the white panel van pull up, you like go up and like pick them up and you're like, okay, let's get out of here. Or you go down to the park and you swing. And
are you pro or con leash on kid?
I'm con leash on kid in most situations. I have difficulty saying always, like traveling with kids. I've never had to take a plane ride with a kid, and I think in an airport I would leash my kid, just because there's too much going on, and you know you lose the hand, and I got the bag and the hand and the diaper bag and everything else. No, I want to have that leash that I can tie on to me somewhere, so that like I hear like feel like a pull, and I'm like, oh nope, come on back. Just
attach it to a carabiner and
Also, when I get on the moving walkway and it starts to drag, and I'm like, oh god. So but I don't blame the parents. I am sure that everything is on the up and up, and sometimes these things just happen.
Yeah.
What I blame
I'm saying
is
even the best parents might lose a kid.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, not lose a kid, but I mean, like...
And to be fair, in kindergarten, I was walking home from school. 6 years old. I was walking 5 blocks.
Now your parents would get called by...
Oh, God. No, my parents would have been
Child
in
Protective
jail.
Services would come and killed your parents.
And then the next year, I walked me and my little sister home from school and let us both in, made her a snack, and waited for my mom to get home. Like, the idea of doing that today is just insane.
Yeah.
You'd never be able to do that.
No, because rape is everywhere.
You see little me toddling down the street with towing Sarah, and no, it would never happen. But so these things happen. What I do blame, though, is that the Cincinnati Zoo, and what you told me earlier is you think that they had a policy.
Yeah.
It was like, shoot the damn gorilla. And I don't think they had a policy. I think they had like, what the fuck do we do? And then somebody was like, I got this. And then like...
I've been training for this since day.
I've been wanting to shoot that fucking gorilla since the day he got here.
He stole my banana. It was my banana. And my name on it.
He gives me the finger. He throws his shit at me.
Coco don't even know.
I just imagine it's the guy... Wait, did you see Harry Potter?
Yeah.
All right, so it's a guy from Slytherin in Planet of the Apes. Did you see Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
But how he's always zapping the damn monkeys. Yeah. Or the apes. No, some of them are monkeys in that movie. But nonetheless, he's always zapping them. I figure it's that guy. That guy's like, oh, my time's
every
come.
chimp I see, from chimpan A to chimpanzee. No, you'll never make a monkey out of me.
Simpsons did it!
Oh my god, I was wrong. It was Earth all along.
Is that Simpsons?
Yeah.
I felt like it was. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was Troy McClure.
That's right. Oh, well. But so, it's tragic that this gorilla, this ape, lost his life.
Right.
And what I keep trying to express to people is this. You look at that gorilla and you see a dangerous animal.
Yeah.
What I know is that animal shares 97% of your DNA. All that it's lacking is...
including the odor.
Well, you know me. But all it's lacking is just the frontal brain portion. They are auditory to each other, which means that they are the base level of speaking to each other, grunts and moans and stuff. They have problem-solving ability. They are all but human. They are all on the same... evolutionary branch that we are. Like, literally, it's us and then orangutans and then great apes. Like, we're very close to each other.
Right.
And when I looked at that video, what I saw was... I mean, it's not PC to say. It's not PC to say, but I'm going to say it. If you could imagine that as being a developmentally challenged person trying to deal with a situation they were unfamiliar with. This child has come into my house. I don't know what to do with this situation.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people yelling at me. Like that. That's what the gorilla is essentially a developmentally disabled person dealing with that. And did admirably. Did whatever, it looks really bad on film, but then, I posted something on my Facebook. You can follow me, Rob Cheek Esquire, on Facebook. But where it says, well, this is what they do. If you compare what he did to the little boy to what gorillas do with their young, this is how they bring their young around, you know? And then when he got him out of the water, he treated him differently. He picked him up and carried him once he got out of the water instead of dragging him everywhere. So, I don't know. It's a tragedy. It's a 100% tragedy. And as a zoologist, I'd like to think that we can refine our policies.
It's a professional lawyer and an amateur zoologist.
Here's the other thing, though. Do you notice it was like the shark attack stories from a couple years ago? Like, we got one kid in a gorilla cage story, and then it's like there were 4 or 5 zoo stories back to back.
I think what it was is these are all stories that happened before, and everybody wanted to, take it out of the vault. And
it's like, how often do kids fall in these goddamn cages?
Well, I mean, I think the last one I saw was 96, so...
They were showing the video from 96, but then literally this week, 2 other kids fell into cages in the zoo. And either it's happening really often, and the news isn't reporting it because they're like, oh, kid fell in a cage, but he didn't get hurt, and no animals died, so we let it go. Like, all the animals scattered, the zookeeper came out and got them, and no harm, no foul. It's on the local news, and that's it. Or some dumbass parent is like, how do you even lose your kid? Look, I can hang my kid over there. Oh, shit. And then, I dropped my kid in there, too.
Somebody save my child.
Yeah. Don't do it in the lion cage, because they are not as smart.
He's going to challenge Dale Jr. for the Daytona one year.
Oh, Dale Jr. He's not doing so well this year.
No, sorry. Sad trombone for Dale Jr.
Well, so do you know why those gorillas are so rare?
The silverbacks?
Yeah.
No.
The silverback mountain, East African mountain gorilla. Well, that is because they...
Poachers?
What's that?
Poachers?
Some poaching, but mostly that their habitat's being encroached by humans. So, it's... The thing that I hate is, I hate the idea... Everyone's jumping on this bandwagon. We talked about it last week with the Preakness, about how, like, a lot of horses get put down on the track. And you don't really hear about it until they put down 2 horses in a single race on national TV, right? And I thought that this would be like let's talk about, is it really okay to keep these kind of creatures in cages or whatever? And immediately went to, parents of child are criminals, has criminal record. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're not going to have a constructive conversation about this whatsoever.
I think that zoos have a important, especially in today. I mean, like, the animals aren't treated badly.
No, they're not. They're treated very well.
Yeah, for the most part.
But always better for them to be in nature.
Can't make any promises about, like, the Djibouti Zoo or something like that. But
in American zoos, in American zoos, they're treated relatively well. But I mean, there was no talk about, like, why is this beautiful creature going extinct? No, it was. Did you know his dad had a record and he was arrested for pot next to the living? Like, oh, come on. Just nothing constructive.
I'm just... There's no... We all want the high ground.
Yeah.
Or we all want the moral superiority of saying, like, those parents should be shot and killed. Or, that monkey is trying to take away one of our people. And therefore, it needed to go down. Like, we need, like... Everybody needs to be able to, like, say with certainty, like, one thing or the other.
Yeah.
But I honestly think in a situation like this, there's so many varied shades of gray, that, like, it's just... There's no right or wrong. I mean, there's things that could have been done differently in hindsight, but I don't... If I worked at the zoo, and somebody called me and they're like, Corey, we got a situation at the gorilla cage. Like, and I got there, and it's just like, make a decision right now. And it's like, should we shoot him or try and, like, tranquilize him, or bring in whoever and try and get the child away? Or, like, I'd be like, I don't know.
But you're not a zoologist.
But then if I saw, like, if I saw a monkey, like, oh, like that real quick, I'd be like, shoot him, just do it.
But he wasn't doing that. Yeah. He was chilling up on the rock.
Oh, I know, but
he was like, hey, I got this thing here.
Like, there were snakes in my dad's house.
Yeah.
Recently, and I had to go help evacuate the snakes.
Yeah,
but
it's like St. Peter? No, St. Patrick.
Yeah,
St. Patrick.
Really in the Emerald Isle of snakes.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt the snakes. I just wanted to get them out the house.
Right.
But at the same time, I was like, they were what appeared to be non-poisonous.
Hopefully.
Not dangerous snakes that were just fucking. And we just figured the best way to do it was, like, to sweep them out with with an ice scraper. It was the best thing we had. It was the longest extending like thing capable of pushing snakes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I treated them well.
Yeah.
I could have just killed them and, like, stapled them to a tree as a warning to other snakes, but I chose not to.
You know who got treated better than those snakes?
My African American friend.
The black guy at a Trump rally. How sweet does it have to be the black guy at a Trump rally?
My African American.
And apparently he's Trump's personal African American, which is fantastic.
Listen, when you grew up, like, you know, I'm speaking mostly to the ladies here, but you know, maybe some of the guys. I'm sure you guys had My Little Pony. Mm-hmm. Trump just had My African American. He came from better. He's of more means than us. He's allowed to have nicer things.
The comments of Corey Baker isn't his alone.
No,
they don't represent everything.
What? It's ridiculous.
Hashtag socially acceptable racism.
It's ridiculous that, like, what was the first thing I was saying, like, when we were, like, watching that? Like,
at the game, you were just like, wait, what? No, play that again. He didn't just say that.
Okay, well, so at the game where I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Except for My African American. I was just like, oh, God. But when we came home, we're talking before the show, we're getting ready to go. What was my... I wanted to know more.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to know what was the context of this.
So, and here... Now, for most people, if you're just on social media, you saw the 9-second clip where he gestures wildly and says, look at my African American over there. Okay, so there was more to that. I'm going to read the entire quote, the quote block, if you will.
Can you do it as Trumpy as possible?
No, I'm not even going to try.
Can you do it as Jay Leno?
No, I'm not going to do it as Jay Leno either. I'm going to save all of our wonderful listeners for that.
Well, hold on. Give it to me. I want to read it.
Okay.
This is Brendan Baker as Donald Trump.
Oh, God. Okay. Brendan Baker as Donald Trump. Go ahead.
We had a case where we had an African-American guy who was a fan of mine. Great fan. Great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. Look at my African-American over there. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about.
Thanks.
Sometimes somehow it loses its gusto when you don't do it with the.
Yeah,
he's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's something, all right. I don't know. Here's the thing. You said the first. Actually, I think your first comment was Teflon.
Yeah,
just Teflon.
Oh yeah. Because here's the thing: if Bernie or Hillary said something, even like completely in context,
right?
Like, and just happened to say it like my African American, or that's my black guy.
Here we go. I'm gonna play the actual thing, so people can hear it with Trump's actual voice.
The Brendan wasn't good enough.
Say that? When we have a protester inside, which isn't even very often, I say be very gentle. Please don't hurt him.
Caveat: it's often.
We had a case where we had an African American guy who was a fan of mine. Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what I'm... look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So we have an African... That was Donald Trump.
That was Donald Trump. So in his own words, that was him.
Totally Teflon though. It doesn't matter what the fuck he says.
No.
There's nothing. He could have gone 100 on that one.
Yeah.
And gone like, there's my.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take it to 100.
Take it to 100.
What would 100 be?
I'm gonna leave it to other people to determine what 100 would be.
My ninja.
Yeah. He might have even been because I doubt he'd go that far.
Oh no.
But he might even if he threw out like there's my Negro or something like that. Like
yeah. He's from a different time. Listen,
he doesn't know these words are offensive. He doesn't get it.
He's of a different time and different wealth. They treated things differently.
They have people that they still own, so it's weird for them to not speak of it possessively.
Not in this country, but they do own people in other countries. So
I mean, here it's illegal.
Kinda.
In Buenos Aires, thriving market.
So here, I just wanted to make it clear because I think that it's unclear. Maybe some people on who listen to the podcast here. So I'm just going to say this: I am 100% behind Donald Trump. I am voting Donald Trump in November. Trump for America 2016. Make America great again.
Not if I don't take you out with my car first. I mean, what?
Not hyperbole, not a joke. I am voting for Donald Trump.
I'm probably voting for Gary Johnson. But if for whatever reason I get cold feet on that one, I might just write in Buck Showalter.
Oh, and so we have talked about starting a campaign. So
though Buck, given the fact that he trots Ryan Flaherty out there so often, he might miss it on one of the cabinet positions.
Yeah.
Like we have across the board, we have great cabinet members.
Just
and then
one.
Secretary of State is just like some guy named Richard who just sucks his thumb all day. We're just like, no, God.
No, Buck for president. He ends up putting Ryan Flaherty in as Secretary of State. Like, Buck! Oh, God.
What does he have on you?
Then I would start asking questions. But no, Buck's a guy who used to walk around the clubhouse naked. Nobody has anything on him. There's nothing he could have on him.
Maybe he killed a hooker or something like that. Like,
I still think he would own it. I think he would own it. But, yeah, they're not real people, so it's fine. I'm just totally kidding. I absolutely support sex workers. Good for you guys. If it's empowering for you. Not the white slave trade, but empowering choice sex workers.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that covered? I think so. Yeah, all right.
This is going to be the Everything's Wrong podcast.
It's very late and I'm very tired.
Yeah.
So that'll be the excuse, I guess.
Anywho, Donald Trump.
Well, no. Oh, before we get to that, seriously, we are going to start a campaign. Hashtag Buck for President. I want you guys to spread it on all your social media. Buck for President. We are pushing Buck Showalter into the White House by hook or by crook. We at least want him to get a solid showing in the state of Maryland. But I know we have listeners all over the country. So,
Wait a minute.
yeah.
It just dawned on me. What happens when Buck loses his job?
As manager,
Yeah.
we win the World Series.
Well, go to the World Series for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure we go. Yeah.
There's been a lot of wins immediately thereafter.
Right.
But going to the World Series is for sure. I don't want to fire Buck.
Right.
I don't want to do it just to get to the World. It's cruel. I would rather Buck win it.
Right.
I want to see him have that joy. But, if he's president, he can't do both jobs.
Right, of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, he'd be moving on of his own accord. And then we could just bring in whoever, I don't know, Freddie Gonzalez. And
I have two semi-related questions for you.
Yes.
Number one's a hypothetical.
Okay.
If I can guarantee you that we win a World Series with Manny Machado, but we have to give him up in 2018, can't renew the contract, would you take that deal?
Guaranteed World Series?
Guarantee we win the World Series before 2018, but we have to let him go in 2018. Do you take that deal?
I think I have to.
Just to get the ring.
Because flags fly forever.
Oh, flags fly for fucking ever. Yeah. Oh, and it'd finally be one in our lifetime, which would be fantastic.
Yeah. I'm at the point, like, we're good.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where I'm worried that it may never happen.
If it doesn't happen soon, it's not going to.
Yeah,
not
like we
for
might
another few years rebuilding.
There might be a couple lean years if we don't do it in this window.
Yeah. So win one and let them go in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if the Orioles have it in them to extend everybody as well.
Yeah, there's going to be money decisions to be made.
Yeah.
For certain. Certain.
And I don't know if there's players to make up for the players that we lose, kind of,
Don't think so. We'd be playing Ryan Flaherty in two positions, and I'm not okay with that.
I'm not even okay with him playing one position.
Second question. Did you see that there is a guy who's playing in the NBA Finals who gets a ring no matter who wins?
Yeah.
How awesome is
Anderson Varejao.
It's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to sit down. I don't care. Who cares?
Well,
I get a ring.
I would imagine he would like to win it with the team he's on.
Sure, I'm sure. And everybody wants Steph Curry to win one. So
he's already
another
won
one.
Yeah,
back to is it back to back?
People,
yeah, because he won last year.
People don't like LeBron winning things.
No, they don't. We hate LeBron in general, on principle. Yeah. So, but it's gonna be awesome going in there like no pressure. Like, no matter what happens, I get a ring, so whatever. I don't care. That's good. It's good. I dig that.
It's good to be me.
But anyway, so going back to it. Hashtag Buck for President. We are pushing Buck Showalter into the Oval Office.
Whether he wants it or not.
Whether he wants it or not, we want to have a solid showing, at least here in Maryland in the fall. But there's still an opportunity for our LA listeners to cast your vote right in Buck Showalters on your primary this Tuesday.
Especially if you're a Republican.
Well, no, vote Trump if you're a Republican. If you're a Democrat,
no, but I'm saying with the Republicans, there's
Trump 2016.
There's no point in voting. I mean, he's gonna get the nomination.
True, he's locked it up. Very
yeah,
true.
so I mean, there's no. If everyone voted for somebody else, it's not like it's going to change anything.
So the two of our listeners
if
who are
all of a sudden
Republicans-
Ted Cruz got 100% in California,
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's not like he's going to the convention floor like, I had a good showing at the end.
So for our two Republican California listeners, and we probably don't even have any Republican California listeners, but if we do, write in Buck Showalters for president.
Listen, Zach. Just kidding. It's not Zach.
No, it's certainly not Zach. Although he is from Texas, so
maybe he's got some
just
a scent of it.
He didn't know what box to check, and he just reflexively filled out the Republican
Or
ticket.
maybe they only have one choice. You got to register to vote, and it's just a Republican box. It's like, where do I do to vote Democrat? You go to fucking Arizona, son.
I like how Texas has a Baltimore accent. That was interesting. But we're going to write in hashtag Buck Show, or we're going to write in Buck Showalters, but hashtag Buck for President. You heard it here first. Everybody, go to the games, make your signs, hashtag Buck for President at the Anthem on your signs. Let everybody know we're pushing him into the White House. But in the meantime, we do have a primary coming up today, the day that this airs.
Hopefully.
Yeah, theoretically. We're doing the video tomorrow, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a problem.
It should be okay. Yeah, so this could be it for young Bernard Sanders.
Is his name actually Bernard?
I think it is.
I thought his name was Bernie.
Just name your kid Bernie.
Yeah. Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
I'm pretty sure it's Bernard.
Okay, so for young Bernard, not so young Bernard Sanders, this could be...
young at heart Bernard Sanders.
Very true. Very true. But it's coming down to it for him.
Yeah. And here's the question I would like to pose to you.
Okay.
Hillary will certainly, with the superdelegate plus pledged delegate math, clinch the nomination, quote unquote, by New Jersey.
By about 8:15 on June the 7th, yes.
I mean, what they'll probably do, they might not even necessarily call the state of New Jersey.
Right.
But because it's got 100 electoral votes, and she needs 25 or something like that.
When the pledge delegates come out, or the super delegates.
When they're sure that she's not going to lose by, 75% to 25%, then they'll say, like, we're not calling New Jersey, but we're calling that she's got more than 25 delegates. And
thus she's clinched the nomination.
Right.
Except not so much.
Right. But what do you think Bernie's carrying this all the way to the nomination and just...
I think that California is far more important than New Jersey. If he gets a Michigan in California, absolutely he does. Because I think there is a chance, slim though it be, that he actually supersedes her pledge delegate count heading into the convention. And then what do you do when you have one candidate who has far more pledge delegates? Not far more, but more pledge delegates. Mm-hmm. Or you have two candidates who have essentially split the pledge delegate account.
Well, and superdelegates, even though they're in for Hillary right now,
right?
Like, part of the decision they have to make is who's the better chance of winning, which I think pretty much every single poll has shown that Bernie would do better against Trump than Hillary would.
Yeah. But they're also, keep in mind, they're party insiders, though. So it's not necessarily about who's the better candidate. It's who represents the party more. And do you think that they wouldn't pick a stinker just to give Hillary her shot? She can fix it. She'll pull it out in the end. What I think is going to happen is...
We've never seen a Hillary general campaign.
No. She never made it that far.
Yeah.
She's almost stumbled her way into the finish line now. She
obviously has a great ground game.
Yes, she does.
And has people at all the positions in all the states that she needs.
Yep.
Organizationally, she's light years ahead of Trump.
Right. And Sanders, for that matter.
Well, yeah.
Sanders has a lot of boots on the ground, but she has an army. She has troops that are in line, ready to go. Bernie's got like a mob. She's got troops.
Yeah.
And Trump's got brown shirts. But there's very few of them, but they wield a heavy baton. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
They always like to walk in unison with their arms extended upward towards the heavens.
Do you know what the old man said? The old soldier said on the parade grounds?
No.
Why is everyone out of step except me? It's food for thought. I heard that this week, and I'm like, that is good. That is good. All right. Anyway, sorry. So, yeah. So, Hillary's got a good ground game, and she has maximized that. We've never seen her in a general election. And I don't know... I don't know that we're going to see her in a general election now.
Well, because I worry that if it's Trump and Hillary, the negatives for both of them are pretty much equal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unbelievable shocking.
Yeah.
Because, you know who Hillary is? She's like Derek Jeter.
Okay.
Like, I would... As somebody who didn't know, and maybe they heard the name Derek Jeter.
Right.
Never seen him play, don't know anything about him.
Just got the gift basket.
They might say, like, so what's the deal with Jeter? Like, what's the, like, what's so good about him? And I'd be like, well, he was the captain of the most prestigious team in the league at a very important position. And he was a good hitter. Mm-hmm. Had 3,000 hits. He was
a good fielder at one point.
Yeah.
In Texas.
I wouldn't say all that, but
wait,
you could say, like a lot of these things, like all these superlatives, World Series 4 times, yada yada yada. And you'd be like, oh wow, he sounds like one of the best baseball players around. Yeah, I hate him. Hate him so much.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, why do you hate him? And I'd be like, oh, well, here's the list. And then it's left to the person to decide whether or not they want the credentials or whether or not they want the
emotional hatred.
And I think that's Hillary's main problem. Because,
yeah.
First Lady, Secretary of State, Senator, like, this is as good of a track record as you're going to get out of somebody.
Also defended rapist and later joked about rape victim. I don't know if you saw that. Don't know if you saw that this week.
But that goes into the why do you hate Hillary Clinton campaign,
Yes, well.
Like, there's plenty of reasons not to like her.
Oh, yes.
But at the same time, there's also she is legitimately the most qualified person to run for president in a long time. As far as titles go.
Here's the thing.
Because, has there been... I don't remember the last time a cabinet member ran.
George H.W. Bush.
Well, are we counting him because he was vice president?
He was head of the CIA, and then he was the undersecretary of defense, and then he was vice president. So, not on the cabinet, I suppose, but the CIA, the head of the CIA is an advisor on the cabinet.
Did he have any other elected position prior to that?
Yeah, he was a congressman from Texas.
Okay.
Before he became the CIA.
So he kind of had a similar, amount of qualifications.
Not really first lady. And that's the thing. I don't count first lady. You were not blowing the dude who was president. That's the qualification to be first lady is don't blow the dude who's the most powerful man in the world. There's another girl who's going to take care of that.
I don't necessarily count first lady as like a superlative.
Yeah.
I just think it's another...
She's been around the seat of power.
Right.
She was also first lady of Arkansas. Don't count that either.
Yeah.
So, what does she have on her agenda? On her list of superlatives? She was a senator from New York.
Mm-hmm. Which she got largely because she was a former first lady.
Right. And she did very little while she was there. And then got boosted up once we had a Democratic president to Secretary of State. I think that was the first position she had, right? Yeah, Secretary of State. And then quit that and ran for president. After running for president and losing against the guy who made her Secretary of State. So, I don't know that she's got that much experience. Being around D.C., does that give you experience? Because there's a lot of bums who are qualified to run for president then. You know what I mean?
I think there's been a long history of her being involved in decision-making.
Okay.
In said positions.
Right. I mean, as First Lady, she was on the healthcare initiative or whatever. And
well, I mean, as First Lady, she was one of the first sort of politically minded First Ladies. Yeah. I mean, we had, like, Nancy Reagan was saying no to drugs, but it wasn't, like... Right. That wasn't policy talk. That was just her...
Getting on TV and being like, I
serve a purpose.
Yes, I'm the figurehead of this.
Right.
Not making policy.
Hillary was, at least during her time as First Lady, trying to make substantive policy moves.
Yeah, very, very true.
She wasn't... you can say whatever you want about her voting record in the Senate, but at the same time, she was, one of the heads of the party, essentially. But she was there.
She was only the head of the party because she was a former First Lady who carpetbagged her way into a Senate seat.
I don't think that people would have let her... Her mojo would have run out if she was just on coattails,
Here's the thing. They saw the possibility of electing the first woman president. And much like the Danish girl and the Academy...
They can't help themselves.
Just can't fucking help themselves. And here's the thing. If Nancy Pelosi wasn't such a huge cunt, she would have been the one. Yeah. But Barbara Boxer, Nancy Pelosi, all of the California Democratic women, people hate them. The people in the heartland hate them more than they hate Hillary, which is saying a lot. But any of those women could have become, Babs Mikulski for that matter, could have become what Hillary is. But they strayed too far into the cuntiness of it all, the bitchiness, and they got plastered that way. She somehow, she's good. She's political. She maneuvered her way into this, you don't have to like me, but you don't hate me. And even when you say, I hate Hillary, you don't really hate Hillary. Because,
Well, you hate her like I hate Jeter.
Right. Where it's like, I respect, but,
Like, I'm not going to spit on Jeter if I see him on the street.
Right. But you don't like him.
Yeah.
You're going to boo him. And
if I go to a baseball game and he walks out and it's just like, everybody put your hands together. Like, I booed Bill Cowher today. Bill Cowher hasn't coached the Steelers for 10 years.
He's a commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we booed him, and then he was pointing to the hat, like, hey, I'm wearing an Orioles hat. And then it's just like, all right, golf claps.
Okay. But no, I think that there was a time in the early 2000s where the party said, we're going to elect a woman. Who is that woman going to be? And they searched through who they had available, and who were the popular women at that time. There was Barbara Mikulski, longtime senator, but not electable as president.
Yeah, she's not electable.
Nancy Pelosi, who also longtime serving, probably not electable as president. Also imagine that there may be some skeletons in that closet, given the political family that she comes from. Barbara Boxer, you'll never win the South and the Midwest with Barbara Boxer. She's become the face of the anti-gun movement and all of these things that Hillary avoided while she was in the Senate. And there are a couple other women who it could have possibly been, but those are your big ones.
Right.
And they said, okay, so if we're going to elect a woman, who's it going to be? Here's our woman. And then so they said, get her elected in the Senate, get some policy experience under her belt. She ran in 2008, stumbled through the election.
This has been the thing with Democrats and Republicans for a long time. Democrats don't have a lot of top-of-the-line choices.
Right.
They don't have conceivable presidents. I mean, O'Malley, maybe if you stretched it enough,
yeah,
you could say he could have been a conceivable president.
Cognitive dissonance of ignoring all the negatives
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
looking at the positive. Yeah.
And just thinking of like, oh, he's a good-looking guy who speaks.
He's Kennedy-esque.
Yeah.
If we look at only the positives,
Right.
not the negatives. Yeah.
But they didn't, beyond those three, they didn't really have, like, a roster to go to.
Nope.
They could have maybe pulled Biden, who I don't know would have had much of a chance. The thing is, the Democrats get a couple people who are capable
Yeah.
and put all their eggs in those baskets.
Right.
Whereas the Republicans get a ton of people who are conceivable, but then don't push anybody up to
Right.
the level where, like, if they wanted to coronate Ted Cruz,
Right.
they could have been spending years talking about how good Ted Cruz is.
Well, and so the years before, Mitt Romney, who was he?
Right.
People in Massachusetts knew who he was. Republican people knew who he was. But as a nation, we didn't know who he was. But
Right.
they had groomed him, and they were looking at Bobby Jindal. They were looking at,
Well, I mean, the last time the
governors all over the
Republicans
place.
really, like, put eggs in a candidate's basket was, like, Bob Dole.
Right, and that did not work out well.
No,
And
but-
he was the coronation. He was the one who said, "Look, long time serving congressman,
It's my time.
it's my time. Make me the candidate." And then he lost abysmally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that they learned a lesson, and they are much more rank and file. They're much more good about, you sit the fuck down. It's not your time yet.
Yeah.
Except for when it's Trump, and I think that's why it caught them off guard, because they're like, "This is not how we do things. This is not how we do things." We have the young guy from Florida. We have the couple of governors, ex-governors, and we have this is how we do things. What are you doing? What are you doing? No.
Right.
And then they just underestimated him, and it went crazy. But the Democrats do. We coronate people. Obama, in a lot of ways, was a coronation. It was Democrats can't help themselves. We got a black guy running against a woman. We can't lose no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
But with Obama, it wasn't a coronation from Hillary had that race and lost it.
Not from the beginning. Yeah.
Right.
But when it switched, and everybody switched allegiances, which is another reason why I pointed this primary in California and saying that it may get to the point where they switch the coronation. It's happening real late, but I think another thing we're going to see in the next few weeks before the convention is states other than Maryland, because Maryland doesn't have a year-round legislature, saying, "Hey, superdelegates, you have to vote along with our pledge delegates."
Yeah.
And I think Alaska, Maine, Nebraska, North Dakota, a bunch of places have not gotten rid of superdelegates, but they've said, "Great, you're invited to go on our behalf, but you need to cast your vote in the same proportions as our pledge delegates." So it's removed a couple of, and actually the news has not changed, by the way, their numbers based on those facts.
Right.
Because they're still reporting Hillary has all the pledge, because they're still pledged. The superdelegates are still pledged to Hillary, but the state is saying you cannot do that. You must vote proportionally along with our pledge delegate amount. So California is the whole enchilada. That's really what it comes down to. I mean,
but the only way it's settled at California, though, I think, is if it's a impressive win on one side or the other.
No, I think that it's only settled if it's an impressive Clinton win. If Clinton spanks Bernie in California, we're done.
Yeah.
If Bernie wins handily, he's just still in it. That's all that means.
Yeah.
And if he breaks even, I think he has an argument to continue on to the convention, but not a strong one.
Right.
It's more like, hey, so you're looking for a VP? Eh? Let's unite this party.
See, I don't think they would give Bernie the VP.
No. But
because that's a problem with the Democrats just looking forward.
Yeah.
They don't want to take somebody from the Senate.
Well, no, they will. They will.
Well, I mean,
they're stupid.
They don't want to give up a seat.
They shouldn't, but they will.
Yeah.
If Hillary wins, she will fill her cabinet with senators and congressmen and fucking
just
lose the
rob
seats.
Yeah,
just take away. Why? Because why not?
Yeah.
It'll be a mixed bag of Goldman Sachs CEOs and senators, so that we lose the vote in the Senate, we lose the majority in the Senate, and also we have the impact of private business.
Yeah.
Democracy. That's why I'm voting for Trump in 2016. Trump, 2016. Yeah.
Did we have anything else on the...
Yeah, we should have talked about it earlier. It bumped down to the bottom, but Memorial Day was last weekend, and there was, I don't want to get into it a lot, but there was a couple of police officers.
But just a little bit.
There's a couple of police officer stories from the weekend. You brought one up to me at the game, so what was the story that you were talking about?
There is a St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department.
Yeah.
The chief of the police there was very proud that they had their 2000th arrest courtesy of the app that they had just launched.
Yes, yeah.
Which is supposed to allow you to anonymously alert police to some sort of police noteworthy occurrence.
The keyword is anonymously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and just generally speaking, I would like people to be more aware of this. If there's anything that I can bestow upon the people, be aware of the permissions you're giving up for an app.
Right.
Like, say you download, I don't know, a horn app for, like, drinking a Mayo.
Right.
So they gotta have the, like...
Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're downloading that app and it says... most all of them need to know who you are.
Right.
Which is, whatever. But if it says, like, like personal information, camera, text messages, phone call record, gallery, location, like, legitimately, there's not a reason that a horn app needs to know where you are.
No.
It's not going to change the horn based off of your location.
Cross into Mexico and he goes...
The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department app had personal information, location, phone records, text messages, camera/gallery.
Yeah.
You might say, well, it's the police and they're here to protect and serve. But you have basically just given the... Think about all the things you've ever said on your phone.
Yeah.
And private text messages to a friend.
Yeah. Like, hey, can I get a quarter?
Yeah. Or I'm so fucking mad at Rob, I might just run him down with my car.
Right. Which just said between you and the internet. So that's okay.
That was a joke, obviously. But I'm saying, if a police were to read that, they might
see it differently.
They might have very different... Because sarcasm doesn't work unless you know.
Right. In text form, sarcasm's worthless, yeah.
Especially when you get, like, an okay text. Just okay by itself.
What the fuck's that supposed to mean?
Okay? Okay? That's it?
But, so, what people are doing when they download this app?
Is they're letting police track you.
Consenting to a search, consenting to becoming a tracking device. Which is all well and good, because you think to yourself, I'm a law-abiding citizen. What do I care? Well, here's the thing. When it can use your geolocation to also plot out your speed. So let's say that you were traveling in a car and the posted speed limit was 55, and you were traveling 65. Theoretically, they would have evidence that you were traveling faster than the posted speed limit.
Right.
Or let's say that you lived on... I don't know any of the streets in St. Louis. Let's say that you were living on Main Street in St. Louis, and a riot broke out on Main Street in St. Louis. The police could theoretically go to their records and say, let's see who has our app who was on Main Street at this time and date. And then just arrest everybody. And you could have been peacefully in your apartment, and they would say, it doesn't matter. Our information shows that you were on Main Street during the riot, therefore you must have been involved in the riot. And the way the system is really set up, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but that's not really how it works, as we've chronicled on many podcasts now, so that you go in there and the state's attorney's like, listen, I believe you 100%. I know that you weren't involved. So all I need you to do is just take a plea to MDOP, and you pay a fine, and you'll be out of here. It's totally fine. And then so you're like, but I'm innocent, but if I get found guilty, I can go to jail. So I'll just pay this fine, and then now I have an MDOP on my record, so malicious destruction of property, and I pay a fine, and now I'm guilty, and I have a conviction on my record that I can never get off again.
Right.
All because you downloaded a fucking app to snitch on people. Yo, snitches get stitches.
Another one, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but if you have your car insurance app on your phone,
Yeah.
you are fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah.
Because they can run in the background.
Yep.
And guess what they get? Location information.
Yep.
Every single one of them is going to ask for location information. And the reason they're going to say they want location information is because if you break down on the side of the road and you need to call their roadside service,
Just click it.
they'll be
instead
able
of
to find you
calling.
right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing is if you're going 75 and a 55 all the time, they have records of this.
Yeah.
If you regularly go into shady neighborhoods and park your car and walk away, they know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you may say, like, Corey in your paper or in your aluminum foil hat, thinking that everyone's out to get you. It doesn't take that. Analytics work without them having to, like... There's not some... Jerry doesn't handle the A's through the B's.
No. It drops
and just
you
goes
into
through and goes like, oh, I wonder what Mr. Abernathy's up to.
Right, no.
You know?
The
Like,
computer drops you from low risk to medium risk or medium to high,
Yeah.
and now you're paying triple.
right.
Or
All the-
you miss payment by 12 cents, and then they just drop you completely. This episode brought to you by Allstate.
Pig fuckers.
But no, so Memorial Day, the reason I want to talk about Memorial Day is a lot of shit happened. Chicago... So I was driving all weekend, and I didn't get to enjoy any of it, but, you know, it is what it is. I was at the beach, so that was nice. I made a lot of money, so that was nice. But in Chicago, 49 people got shot. 49 people got shot.
On a weekend?
Oh, it was a single holiday weekend. And the New York Times sent, like, every reporter they had there to make sure they could chronicle every single shooting. But I'm like, this is the country we live in now. This is the country we live in now. So,
Yeah, well, if you don't want people shooting people, then you should support the police.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Another thing that happened this week is that the police outside of a Trump rally in San Diego were photographed wearing the black and white American flag with the blue stripe as one of the stripes, which, for those of you who are unaware, is the international symbol for the blue line, which is, police are the thin blue line. Now, if you are a positive police supporter, you look at it and say, oh, I support the blue line because police are good. If you're on my side, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw myself in there because you all already know anyway, it's saying, well, that's because everything that happens on that side of the line is kept quiet. That's why it's a line. But here's my argument. If you are carrying a weapon and you have an insignia, which is not an official insignia, but which all of your friends are wearing, and you're wearing all the same outfits, that kind of makes you a gang under federal law. So the police in San Diego have officially become a gang. Not that we needed any other reasoning.
That's it. Bring up the RICO charges.
Here we go. Let's do it. Now, wait, who do you call when it's the police? Who
polices the police?
Who polices the police? Yeah.
Guess you could call the FBI.
Yeah, I guess. Justice Department has let me down a little bit. But so as I was driving around on Memorial Day, the radio was on repeat because it's just, people in the car listening to the radio. I heard the same Memorial Day message over and over again about many thanks to those who have served, and then it was a car full of drunk people who were like, I can't believe I have to go to work tomorrow. And after all of that, all I could think is that maybe one day when I'm running things,
we'll get Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and they won't confuse the two.
Well, yes. Well, there's that. Yes, there is absolutely that. Facebook won't confuse Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and then fix it in the middle of the day and pretend they didn't get it wrong the first time.
Yeah. By the way, just again, so people know, Memorial Day is for the people who served and died.
Yes.
For this country, not
served and then died.
Yeah, served and eventually died after.
No, died while in service.
Yeah.
And Veterans Day is for anyone who has ever served, living or dead.
Yeah.
What I was thinking as I was driving around is that someday when Rob's running things, when the benevolent dictatorship is in its second decade or so,
Second.
We will add
20 years of cheek.
Oh, God, the gloriousness that it would be. But we will add to Memorial Day the names of other people who are lost. Because same thing I kept hearing is about, like, soldiers and sailors. And, you know, absolutely, we should remember people who lost their lives in service to the country. Whether or not you believe in the wars that they fought, they believed in what they were there doing, or when they signed up, they believed that they were doing so, risking their lives for their country. Whether or not that all panned out is politics. It's not about the people who signed up. But when I think of people who need to be memorialized, people who lost their lives in the struggle, I think of Tamir Rice and Freddie Gray and Eric Garner. And I hope that one day we can start adding those names to the list of people who we remember on that day. Not just soldiers, because a lot of people lost their lives to create a good country. Not just soldiers, but unfortunately all these civilians who hopefully we, again, in the benevolent dictatorship that people rise up and install me as Presidente for life, which I'll only take, of course, after Buck gets his 8 years. #
Right.
Buck for president. So, yeah.
Well, you know where you can look at your computer screen with your arms folded in front of your face?
Where's that?
With just a plain expression.
Where's that?
And a hat, just slightly, just so that it's shading the eyes enough so people can't get a good look at you.
Where's that?
OhTheAnthem.com, Corey to OhTheAnthem.com, Oh The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's the number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my news website, to the political blog, and sign up for my mailing list. And, of course, you can find links to the books, which are available on Amazon. And, of course, make sure you check out the sister shows on the network. We have the Dirty Show Underground, new episodes of that podcast every Thursday, and the Anthem Alliance, new episodes of that podcast every Friday.
You might. Oh shit! It's Friday again.
It is Friday again. Oh, and make sure you check out Dirty Show Underground, because we are starting the #DSUG Summer Challenge, which Corey is going to participate in.
Yeah, I'm going to do the first day of it, and then probably not do it anymore. But at least you'll see on the first day.
So check into the
social media coverage.
Check into the kickoff show this week. New episode this Thursday, 2 days after you're listening to this, at DirtyShowUnderground.com or Dirty Show Underground on all your RSS feeds of choice. So make sure you check that out. And, of course, the best way that you can help us expand this network of ever-growing podcasts are to become our supporter on Patreon, patreon.com/OhTheAnthem. That's patreon.com/OhTheAnthem. Become a monthly supporter. You get access to a bunch of cool stuff, including the pre-roll footage and some behind-the-scenes stuff that we'll be running all through the rest of time, basically. Yeah. So,
and a bonus podcast soon.
Oh, yeah, we got to do a bonus podcast. Yeah, we got to do that. So, yeah, and bonus podcast. So, check that out.
All right. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But, as always, you're listening to the Oh The Anthem podcast, part of the Oh The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
So, Buck, what do you think about diplomatic immunity? Well, I never felt good about robbing Peter to pay Paul. That doesn't answer the question, Buck. All right, see you guys.